These motherfuckers, they sit there and bitch about my picks. You don't realize the sacrifices I make for this? You know, I could be other places right not now, baby. Baby, not
Oh,
now. Baby, not. Baby.
I thought you meant when you
I
put the
did
hand
mean
down.
now!
Oh.
Part of play action fakes it for pass end zone. Yes, touchdown.
Hi, and welcome to Genos Picks. You don't even know what's in store. Sure, I went 1-3 last week, dropped back to an even Steven 8-8 with the videos, and we will get to my cousin Steven and his Eagles in a moment. But hey, it actually makes sense that Daddy should be the equivalent of a coin toss this year, considering that after nearly 30 days of football games, I've seen barely 30 minutes of NFL action that did not involve my Chargers. But it's also worth noting that the Bolts, after their second straight statement win this past Monday night, 28-14 win over the Raiders to put them atop the AFC West at 3-1, that their only loss came, of course, when Daddy was at the fucking game. Why do the things I love fare so much better when I'm away from them, Tara? She'll call, right? She's gonna call? Don't need her to call if you saw the intro to this bitch. Yeah, come crawl back. Okay. And yes, my kitty missed the Thursday night game, but I'm gonna tell you this. I'm done with it. I'm only picking the teams I like in Picks with Six. That's it. It's against the spread. I'm picking the teams I want to root for. I don't care, okay? So if you want to combine my household record for now, yeah, me and my little angel are 8-12 for a 40% fucking win against the spread. It's lowly. But if you aren't fading her, that's on you, dudes. As you have to realize, as I mentioned with Tara, beautiful pussy hits harder in the back of your pants than it does in the front. I'm talking about your wallet. And if you didn't get that joke, it's because you keep your wallet in the front of your pocket right next to your cunt. Speaking of huge slots, let's make some money for you to slide into that piggy bank of yours. My first pick, the Panthers, are giving 3 and a hook to the Eagles in Carolina. In week 1, I told you that Jalen Hurts stinks before he went out to put up numbers that would have qualified him for Offensive MVP of the month, going 27-35 for 264 yards and 3 TDs in an opening day win over the Falcons. But in keeping with the September 11th theme, everything came crashing down immediately after that. Since then, the Eagles have been offensive to their fans, as the Birds have been drubbed in 3 straight losses, being outscored 100-62, meaning the fact that Hurts has completed just 69 of 110 passes is even worse, considering these attempts came mostly against prevent defenses. Actually, now that I say that, I think the most offensive person in all of this is me to the terrorist on 9/11, because if they were as accurate as Jalen Hurts, we'd still have 1.5 towers left, and the Pentagon would have 5 sides and a moat. I don't care. I don't care. Top 5, this guy. Meanwhile, the 3-1 Panthers get a little better every week, and while they suffered their only loss last week, I think they learned from that. While the Eagles may still be fooling themselves from their opening day win against Atlanta, especially considering it came against a Falcons team that has only been able to squeak out a win against the dismal G-Men, meaning they are flying even lower than any of the planes referenced in this pick. This guy. Take the Panthers and lay the 3 and a hook. My next pick, the Titans are laying 4 and a hook to the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Sure, the Jaguars looked as good as they have all season this past Thursday night in a tough loss to the Bengals, as young Trevor Lawrence played hard all night. But you know who played even harder, Garrett? His head coach. Jags head coach Urban Meyer, as you'd be hard-pressed to find a coach here as a guy, you'd be as hard-pressed as he was here to find a guy that put the head in coach more than this guy late Thursday night, as he was out fucking young pussy with the best excuse ever. I'd stayed back in Ohio to see my grandkids. And he did, when he shot them all over this chick's cans about 4 hours after the game. Yeah, the only thing that is more scattered than his DNA all over those double Ds is the focus of a Jags team that, if ever they needed a short week to put this behind them, they had 10 days to let this sink in. It still hasn't, and the Titans will take full advantage as Derrick Henry pays homage to Urban Meyer by pounding every big cat that comes near him. Take the Titans and lay the 4 and a hook. My next pick, the Bills are getting 2 and a hook from the Chiefs in KC. Let me preface this with the fact that, yes, I'm becoming a huge Bills fan for the simple fact that I've yet to meet a Bills fan that isn't a genuine fun football fan and an avid drinker. And never was that proven more than in my past 2 trips to Cali, where I hung out at a Bills bar in Hermosa Beach. But in my defense, I have nothing but love for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, which is why I pay attention to both teams more than most. And what I can tell you is this. The Chiefs' offensive line is not good. And I was not impressed with their game against the Eagles last week. I watched it with my fam in Jersey. Even though they never punted once as the Chiefs' offense went TD, 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 pick TD, TD, TD in their 42-30 win last week against the Birds. And that would be impressive if the Eagles' defense didn't suck. Did you even pay attention to the first pick? Because I will read it again just for that fucking moat joke, people. The Eagles' defense stinks. They have more trouble stopping an offense before they hit the red zone than Andy Reid's kid has stopping a car before he hits an SUV. Thank you. And I'm being nice because I could have said they have more trouble stopping an offense than Andy Reid's kid has stopping heroin. What? That's the other one. He's dead. Look, the Bills have one opening day loss to the Steelers, a team that perhaps Josh Allen was still in his mindset that he couldn't beat. He knows he can now, and that will be the best loss for him because he will not be in his head when he beats the snot out of the fucking lowly fucking weak-minded Chiefs. Take the fucking Bills and the points you're getting. Which brings me to you'd have to be a boob not to make this pick this week.
Oh, yes.
The Ravens are laying a TD to the Colts in Baltimore Monday night. Carson Wentz and the Colts aren't only a long way from Indy, 578 miles to be exact. But that kid is 1,000 miles from the player he was just 4 years ago in 2017, when the then sophomore QB put up MVP numbers before his ACL snapped and Nick Foles cock-blocked his future. That means two things in Philly. And unlike that ride from Indy to Baltimore, which is a straight shot down I-70, across to Wentz's career has taken far too many turns to ever get back to that player he was, as evidenced by the fact that last week's win came against a suspect Miami team and their backup quarterback, and that was his first win in his last 8 starts. I loved watching young Carson Wentz, but he was never given the full support that Lamar Jackson has seen volumes of. And speaking of volume, for the 3rd straight week, there will be a ton of it in Wentz's ear because he hasn't played a home game since week 1. Take the Ravens, lay the TD. Those are Geno's picks. I'm going to go crank one out to that opening video.